It depends. So, if you want a T-32 Premium, then I would definitely go for this tank. But of course, if you don't like the T-32, I would definitely not recommend to buy it. There are also other reasons to buy it. For example, it's a good premium tank, even though it's basically T-32 with less DPM. The gun is much better and you hit almost everything. But of course, if you have enough premiums already, I wouldn't recommend to buy it. So if you wanna, you can check out the review that I will do now. And now let's go into the first battle. So you may wonder, what's the difference between those two tanks? And as you can see here, not much. The T-832 has 2 seconds longer reload time, and because of that it has 400 DPM less. But of course the gun is much better because your dispersion is 0.04 lower and your aim time is also better. So basically this is slower reload time with the better gun accuracy, and you are a little bit faster, but it depends. I would say the mobility is quite the same. Armor of course is just the normal T-32 as you can see here. The turret is basically impenetrable and the hull is okay, sometimes 10 degrees of gun depression. So this tank is definitely one of the best tanks to play on the cooldown. As you can see, the turret itself is basically not penetrable. You have this small thing, but I don't think that many people would shoot it. And the cupola armor is quite difficult to pen also. And now we have the battle on the Muravanka, as you can see here. Tier 9's 1 RT, so not easy, but also it isn't that hard of a matchup. And now what's the plan? Because we have such a strong turret, I plan to get somewhere here into the hold down position. And with this gun you basically can hit almost anything from the close range, middle range, and sometimes even when you are sniping. So definitely we will be able to probably out farm the enemies. And now I'm trying of course to play aggressively here, because if I play aggressively I will have a good position. I took one shot and I was fine with it, because this position is very powerful. But unfortunately, as you can see here, I took another shot from the Grom. And you may now think that I'm some kind of noob, and what even am I doing? I have 600 damage and half of my health is gone. But now you will see the thing about this position, because here the enemies basically cannot do anything to me. They see my turret and I even go up on this thing a bit, so I will be even more angled, and now I will start just farming the enemies here. As you can see, I managed to hit this 257's cupola, even though he's quite hidden behind the hill. But with this gun you will just be able to hit the enemies quite often. Even though you have 2 seconds slower of the real time, this gun is much better than the T-32 gun. But also, you will see that in a second, the penetration isn't that great. Even though you are pretty accurate, I would say even one of the best accuracy on the heavy tank, on the tier 8, the penetration sometimes will not just be there. And there will be a moment with this T-95 that I will have to switch on the gold shells and I will still not be able to do much to him. But now we are trying to farm the enemies from this position. As you can see, we bounced 2000 damage already, and also we are close on 2000 damage dealing. Unfortunately, this 257 is moving, so sometimes it isn't that easy to hit him. Now I'm loading gold to try to penetrate this T-95, but as you can see, it is even hard with the gold shells. So now I'm trying to still hit this 257, and as you can see, second or third shell is just landing on this guy non-stop. And I had no standard shells, so it didn't even hit, but it couldn't even penetrate. Now I load gold and you will see what this tank can do. He's closer now and the cupola is slightly less angled, so I can pen him easily. And as you can see, he thought he would just bounce everything, but now he cannot do anything to me, he doesn't even hit me, and I will just start shooting his cupola and there's nothing we can do. And as you can see, we are close to winning this side, even though there are still many enemies. The second side definitely does its own thing, but there isn't much we could relocate, so now we have to just farm the enemies. And as you can see, even though I had half of my HP at the start almost, after getting into this position the enemies couldn't do anything to me. And this is the powerful thing about this T-32 and the T-832. With those positions, when you just can play on the turret armor, you will just bounce everything. Only H's will do something to you, and sometimes not even the H's. Now the T-95 felt really angered, I guess, and tried to YOLO us, but it didn't work out for him. And now, because there are no more enemies on the hill side of the map, I will try to do something else. As you can see, the RT hit me, unfortunately, so I'm now at 470 HP, but even that, I'm still using this position, which is definitely good. If you can get into this position, I definitely recommend it with any tank that has a strong turret. Now this guy wanted to rush me. Fortunately for us, he died. We have 4000 damage already. Now, as you can see, we are 3 versus 1, so we will definitely die, but we are thankfully winning the situation. I will try to do one more shell and see that the Chrome will be here first. So I shot him, and that was the end of this battle. So, even though we couldn't do anything here, at the end of course, in the battle we managed to do 4200 damage and also bounce 2500. So definitely this tank can be powerful in this type of situation, because even though we were fighting against higher tiers, they just couldn't do anything against us. And as you can see, we fortunately managed to win this battle. Our team managed to end it. We only got a second class, but versus tier 9s we did pretty well, I would say. And the next screen, as you can see, we're top by the base XP, 4200 damage, so definitely helped our team a lot. Who knows if it weren't for us. As you can see, it was a very close battle, because our team managed to cap the base. Only 2 of our allies just survived and the one enemy. So if we weren't be able to farm those enemies so good, who knows where this button would end. And now let's see how does it earn credits. And as you can see, it definitely can, even though I used up quite a lot of gold. I wouldn't say quite a lot, but I think 8 shells. So the auto resupply is minus 55,000, but even with that I have of course the premium time and the reserves, but I didn't have the reserve from the clan. So we got almost 100k of the credits, base, some free XP, so definitely a nice battle. And now we have the second battle. This time I chose the setup with the ventilation, because we will not be moving a lot, and because we of course have a very powerful turret, we will try to play somewhere around those hill areas. Of course I am not planning to go on the beach, even though sometimes you can do quite a lot of damage on the beach. I wouldn't recommend going there, because after winning the beach there isn't much you can do. So here we will try to play somewhere over here, try to use our turret and our accuracy. And even if the enemies will push the beach, then we will try to play around here and you can just shoot down onto the enemies from that position. So now the Grom spotted the Vipera. Unfortunately, there isn't much we can do about him. And now, I mean, that's the overall basically. On this map there isn't much you can do unless the enemy makes the mistake or you go somewhere on the beach. So with the heavy tank you just have to watch out on everything, you have to watch what's the situation. And with this tank you have quite a good mobility, even though I don't have the turbocharger. As you can see, I see now that there are 3 enemies here and there is a good hold down position here that you can basically go into. And now as you see, I'm just crossing through the field, so that's definitely dangerous, and if the enemies would be looking at me, they would be able to shoot me unless you do it in a good timing, because as you saw, all of them shot basically. So the Grom already shot and he couldn't shoot at me, the defender also shot and I heard it, so I decided to went in. And now as you can see, there isn't much he can do. He just will die here, and the Grom repositioned, so that's well played to him. But even though we are here in the position that is hold down and there isn't much he can do, he isn't that accurate to shoot me here. And now, thanks to me, we managed to destroy the enemy defender. So that is also how you can help your team to win the battle. Now we shot the Grom into the middle plate, which is very badly armored, and now I'm trying to do something around here, but I now think to myself that there isn't much you can do here with any tank basically, unless of course the enemies are pushing here, and you have to watch out on this Grom, because if he would push up here there wouldn't be much I can do. So this position is not that ideal, you have to watch out for it. But now I decided to go back. I bounced already 1000, I helped our team 2000 combined damage already, and now I'm trying to go somewhere else and do something else. And that is basically how you have to play with this tank, unless you can shoot basically the enemy in the cupolas, that this tank is very well designed for, because the gun is so accurate. Basically sometimes the RNG of course makes your shells disappear or not hit directly, but most of the time you will hit where you aim. So now I'll try to do something here. I see the light tank, and as you see the gun of course shoots him. Now unfortunately I made a little mistake here and slided down, but even though as you can see the armor is quite good, this burst, unfortunately for him, missed me once and shot the turret on the first try, and thanks to the gun accuracy I managed to shoot him back, so definitely not a good trade for him. And now I'm going back up on the hill over here and trying to do some more. I also non-stop look at the beach to see if we are winning and if I have to go back. Unfortunately here, as you can see, the light tank shot me once and he destroyed my magazine, which is one of the weaknesses of the, I would say, American tanks, so you have to watch out for it sometimes. I now try to push up, and thanks to the gun accuracy I managed to hit him, but I didn't know that the ISU was in the base still, and unfortunately I paid the price for it. He gave me one pick of a shell, but it doesn't really matter. Our team managed to win the left side, so they are pushing and we are basically winning this game. So now I have to just do as much damage as possible, and as you see here now, the Borask unfortunately managed to put a shell to me when I wanted to go into this bunker to be closer to the enemies and try to do something. Thankfully I managed to hit the ISU, and now it's 10-3, we are basically winning. I'm trying to shoot someone here and I want to pick the Chrome, but I'm worried that the Borask will attack me. I think he's reloading, so I should have went for the shell, but unfortunately it didn't happen. So in that battle we didn't really need the accuracy, so for example the T-32 would be better, and as you can see here, in the T-32 I would have reloaded by now, so I would be able to shot this Borask one more time, and thanks to that I would be able to do more damage. So this tank sometimes is better than the T-32, like on the first map, because I was managing to hit almost every of my shell, but when it comes to the pure DPM, this tank is definitely not as well of a performer. So we managed to do, I think, 3000 damage. We bounced something, unfortunately I can't show it to you because I also forgot the screens, but as you saw, it was nice battle. We helped our team a little to win, and yeah, that is basically how you want to play with this tank. And now for my setup. So for the modules I have gun rammer, turbocharger, and of course the improved HP. But I have the second setup, which has the improved hardening, ventilation, and the gun rammer. So the ventilation for the turbocharger, and that's because if you are on closed up maps and they aren't that big, you don't need to move much. I would definitely recommend this one, but on maps with a larger area, definitely I would use setup with the turbocharger. So now for the crew. Of course you have 6 crewmates, like on the T-32, and on the commander I have coordination. This one you need to pick first. Then I would get emergency, brothers in arms, and practicality. On the gunner I have brothers in arms, snapshot, armor, and repairs. On the driver I have brothers in arms, smooth ride to increase even better the gun, off-road driving because you will be faster then, and faster turning. I think that this perk isn't that useful, you can take something else for me. On the radio operator I have brothers in arms, repairs, side by side, and firefighting. On the loader, which is the most important crewmate, I have brothers in arms, repairs, intuition, and adrenaline rush. If I would pick again, I think I would definitely take also the maybe safe storage, because on the Americans the magazine can definitely break down easily. Close combat is also a good choice, and the ammo tuning, one of those 3 I would pick also. So that's the crew, that's the setup. I have 11 IPCRs. Unfortunately the standard shells aren't that good, so if you wanna play pure or for performance, definitely 4 APCR will be needed, but with this gun you have so much accuracy that you don't really need that gold. So yeah, that's the whole review. Thank you for watching, and if you like the video you can like, comment and subscribe, and see you next time.